Hey, it's Michael J. And in this video I'd like to explore a particular division of old Hollywood, Poverty Row. I'm referring to not a literal street called Poverty Row, but a group of B-movie studios that filled the silver screen back in the 30s and 40s. In Hollywood history, Poverty Row refers to a group of B-movie studios that existed between the 20s and the 50s. Although several of them were along Gower Street, the term doesn't refer exactly to a physical location, but rather the group of studios and the tight budgets they had for making movies. The typical output was a lot of westerns, adventure and detective series made with unknown or second-rate stars and production values that showed their limitations. There were a number of studios that came and went after a few productions, but I'm going to focus on the studios with some longevity and that made their mark. Grand National Pictures produced about 100 titles, but only lasted from 1936 to 1939. RKO Studios bought it out in 1940. They made singing cowboy films with Tex Ritter.
He pays us when he can. Goodbye, my little Annie. I'm off for Montage. Goodbye, your pain. I'm leaving Cheyenne.
And made live-action films based on the radio program The Shadow. A number of Poverty Row studios such as Monogram, Mascot, Liberty, Majestic, and Chesterfield eventually merged into Republic Pictures. Monogram Pictures' output included a lot of action and adventure content, with the company's logo looking like a stamp of approval. They distributed 16 westerns starring John Wayne under their moniker Lone Star Productions. Besides their studio location at 4401 West Sunset Boulevard, Monogram operated a ranch in Placerita Canyon where they could make their westerns. Westerns had been filmed there since the silent days of Tom Mix. Gene Autry bought the ranch in 1953, renaming it after his film Melody Ranch.
When the day is through, it's the call of the canyon. Once again I'm dreaming of you.
And he lives by county law. You don't ever bring him in line.
Today it's known as the Melody Ranch Studios, where Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Deadwood have been filmed.
Comely whores, decently priced liquor, and the squarest games of chance in the hills remain unabatedly available 7 days a week.
In 1935, Monogram merged with the group that became Republic Pictures, and then separated and reactivated Monogram in 1937. In 1946, a new unit called Allied Artists was established to brand what they called B-plus pictures. Those films made with a bigger budget than the typical Monogram movie. With the successful growth of this division, Monogram as a label was retired in 1952. Monogram's best-known output includes The Bowery Boys.
Now, if we just had a little collateral, we could go to the bank, talk to the Lady! I thought I told you to turn that radio off! I did turn it off, Slip. It must be broke.
And Bomba the Jungle Boys series of films. Later standouts under Allied Artists were Flight to Mars, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
No, you've got to get out of here, please!
They come from another world, spawned in the light years of space, unleashed to take over the bodies and souls of the people of our planet, bringing a new dimension in terror to the giant Super Scope screen.
Whatever intelligence or instinct it is that can govern the forming of human flesh and blood out of thin air is... It's fantastically powerful, beyond any comprehension.
A cursed, dreadful, malevolent thing was happening to those he loved.
Miles, where do they come from?
I don't know.
Suddenly, while you're asleep, they'll absorb your minds, your memories.
I don't want any part of it.
Producers Releasing Corporation started in 1939 and lasted until 1946. The studio's steady release of westerns and gangster films included Detour in 1945, which is considered to be a film noir classic.
Look, I'll tell you what. You stay put out there, I'll come to you.
Let's get married right away.
How far are you going?
L.A. Not many people stop for a guy these days. Afraid of a stick-up, maybe.
This buggy belongs to a guy named Haskell. That's not you, mister.
Now, wait a
Shut
minute.
up. You're a cheap crook and you killed him.
So what else was there to do but hide the body and get away in the car?
Their release, Minstrel Man, was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, a feat the average Poverty Row studio didn't even dream about. PRC made their films quickly, usually in a week or less, but also managed to engage some well-known actors of the day. There was Bela Lugosi in The Devil Bat.
When an animal attacks a human, there's bound to be a lot of noise.
But I, as a scientist, take many things into consideration a layman might overlook.
Also, Misbehaving Husbands with Harry Langdon and Jungle Man with Buster Crabbe. Republic Pictures, with its very familiar eagle logo, had a nice long run from 1935 to 1967, operating from the old Mack Sennett lot in Studio City and a ranch in Encino for its numerous westerns starring John Wayne, Gene Autry, and Roy Rogers. Republic's status in Hollywood was placed just behind Columbia Pictures. It was built out of the aforementioned group of small studios, each having their own area of expertise, which combined to make Republic a greater force in the industry.
Back in the saddle again. Whoop-dee-tie, yeah, I go my way. Back in the saddle again.
After World War II, the studio added a deluxe film division for higher budget films and included color, widescreen format, and top directors being brought in for specific projects. A few notable films in this area were The Red Pony.
Yes, our thanks to John Steinbeck for writing an inspired story. To Louis Milestone, whose understanding direction makes every poignant scene live on the screen. To Robert Mitchum and Myrna Loy for their admirable performances in a story of love that everyone will love.
And The Quiet Man with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara.
Bold one you are. And who gave you leave to be kissing me?
So you can talk.
Yes, I can, I will, and I do. And it's more than talk you'll be getting if you step a step closer to me.
Don't worry, you got a wallop.
In the 1950s, Republic was one of the first to distribute its film library to television, with westerns being edited to fit a 1-hour programming slot. Republic could not adapt to the new film market of the 1950s and ceased production in 1958 after trying to make it on a few teen exploitation films like Juvenile Jungle.
Every community has its juvenile jungle. Youngsters living too fast and too freely, reaching out for thrift or thrill.
He's shimming us out of 40 grand just for her.
Yeah, I think you're taking us for a sleigh ride, and I don't like it.
Me neither.
Get out of here and stay out!
CBS acquired the studio lot, and the film library was sold to National Telefilm Associates. NTA was successful at redistributing the old Republic films on cable TV, and so, in 1985, decided to change their name and resurrect the brand Republic Pictures, under which a home video unit was created, giving the impression that Republic Pictures had never gone away. In the late 90s, a lot of buying and selling and transferring of power went on, so that by 2012, what had been the new Republic Pictures was controlled by Viacom. The real success story of longevity was Columbia Pictures, which may have started as a Poverty Row studio, but grew to become one of the majors, falling in line just under MGM, Paramount, Fox, Warner Brothers, and RKO. Columbia was started by brothers Jack and Harry Cohn in 1918 as CBC Film Sales Corporation. As CBC, the industry joked that it stood for corned beef and cabbage. They adopted the name Columbia Pictures in 1924 in order to sound more prestigious, using the now very familiar image of Columbia, a female personification of the United States, holding a torch with radiating beams of light from behind her as the logo. In the 1930s, thanks in large part to director Frank Capra, Columbia rose above the Poverty Row designation with a number of popular screwball comedies and 2 winning contract stars, Jean Arthur and Cary Grant.
Hello, professional.
It's part of the specialty I was telling you about.
Yeah? Well, here's to you.
The studio also distributed Walt Disney's product from 1929 to 1932. Columbia couldn't afford a large roster of stars, so they kept to a policy of borrowing from other studios. Columbia's successful series included 190 shorts with the Three Stooges and 131 westerns with Charles Starrett, as well as the programming of numerous weekly serials such as A New Incarnation of the Shadow, as well as Batman and Superman. When the studio left Poverty Row, it was known as part of the Little Three group of studios that also included United and Universal. Frank Capra's It Happened One Night swept the Oscars in 1934 and changed the company's status as a B-movie studio forever.
Do you mind if I try?
You? Don't make me laugh.
Oh, you're such a smart Alex. Nobody knows anything but you. I'll stop a car, and I won't use my thumb.
What are you going to do?
The system on my own.
Capra was the studio's premier director, who pushed for better quality and turned out such classics as Lost Horizon and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Columbia's movies looked well produced. Part of the way this was done on a low budget was to recycle well-made sets over the course of several films.
Worldly wise girl in a picture carved out of the everyday lives of everyday Americans, with those inimitable Capra overtones of drama, laughter, and romance.
In the 1950s, Columbia turned out a remarkable list of impressive films, From Here to Eternity, On the Waterfront, and The Bridge on the River Kauai, all won Oscars for Best Picture.
The award which you have so generously given to the pictures tonight makes me very, very proud and very grateful for having been given the distinction of producing the best picture of the year. Thank you very much.
When other major studios started to have problems thanks to the loss of theater ownership and television coming in, Columbia was doing well and continued to produce about 40 films a year, and its catalog of short subjects and serials was perfect for television distribution. Columbia Studios was first located on Gower Street in the low rent district, but today resides on what used to be the MGM lot. Today, Columbia Pictures, acquired by Sony in 1989, is one of the 4 largest major studios. What used to be known as Poverty Row in Hollywood is long gone, with only the beacon of Columbia still standing tall. But in the days when Americans went to the movies every week, the Poverty Row Studios kept the silver screen filled with adventure.
Stick 'em up or I'll blast you.
The shadow! Yes, the shadow. Stand away from that prisoner.
Let him up.
He was going to kill elephants.
That's all you came for. You might just as well leave right now.
Nah, don't get hostile, Chris.
Welcome to Hollywood. I've been expecting you. Welcome, welcome.
You can't quit.
And why not? Because you're fired.
You can't fire him.
Why not?
He quit. Get up.
It's the very hour when the Axis criminals are spreading their evil over the world. Even within our own land, Batman and Robin stand ready to fight them to the death.
Hi, Chief. You still mad at me?
Satch, I know I heard what I heard with my own tin ears. But just to make sure I ain't having no delusions, would you mind telling me if those silvery tones was actually emulating from your kisser?
Who else?
This is a woman's paradise.
Even if you did tell the cops I was in on it with you, what could they do to me?
Whichever way you turn, fate sticks out a foot to trip you.
I know when night is gone that a new world's born at dawn, drifting along with a tumbling tumbleweed.
Yeah.